More importantly, guys, right now, if you have bought a property over the last few years that you don't feel comfortable renewing your mortgage on, my advice to you is right now or in the next little while is probably going to be the best time for you to try to get out of this thing if you think you're going to get out. If you think you're going to wait for prices to go up and everything is going to be great and you're going to sell out and recover all your money and get out of the situation you've got yourself into, I'm not the guy that would be rolling the dice on that.
Live behind decisions I chose. Peaks feel good and the valleys get low. Chains for the tires in the rain, hail, snows. Like this everywhere that I go, everywhere that I go.
Hey everybody, it's Hussein Kabani, your favorite broker? Well, if I'm not your favorite broker yet, I definitely will be by the end of this clip. We're working in the residential business. We love helping families get into homes and upgrade their homes and possibly even downsize their homes depending on how their life is changing. I would encourage you guys to click on a link below and book an appointment in my calendar so we could discuss if you wanted to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. There's no pressure at all. I would love to connect with you guys and give you my opinion about your situation. Now back to the video. So we're basically towards the end of March 2023. And guess what has been happening over the last few days? We're actually seeing some inventory come onto the market. So basically, at the beginning of the year, we started off with about 8,500 listings available for sale throughout the GTA. Right now, we're sitting just under about 11,000 listings available for sale. And over the past 2-ish days, we've been seeing about 150, 200 units come onto the market every single day. So it is actually going towards a good thing. A lot of times, guys, what ends up happening is during March break, people actually prepare their houses to put on the market. So now what we've seen is that some of these houses are actually coming to the market. So it's good. It's a good sign that our inventory is starting to pick up. The other thing also is that we have multiple offers throughout the GTA. I know a lot of people are still surprised to hear that where we're hearing news about like an economic downturn, recessions and whatnot, that there's multiple offers happening all over the place. There's a couple of reasons for this, guys, and I want to kind of explain them to you. So basically what's been happening is that we've had, I want to say still a pretty low level of inventory. I'd say a balanced market throughout the GTA is somewhere probably around 17,000 listings available for sale, having less than 11,000. So we are on the lower side of inventory. The other thing also is that with what's happening with interest rates. So now we've seen them hold the interest rate, and now we're hearing more and more news about them either holding it or decreasing the interest rate. And what's happened over here is that people are actually coming out now and saying, okay, now we feel comfortable buying. Now that the rate hikes are over, we can kind of get a reasonable understanding of what's going on. And at the same time, having that low inventory position, it is actually driving up prices. That's right, it is driving up prices. So now if we look at the average selling price in January to February, it's definitely increased. And then if we look into the first 20-ish days from February to March, it's definitely seeing an increase in prices already. Now, a question I get a lot of the times about this in the market is that where's it going to go? How is this going to all play out? And guys, I've said this so many times. If anyone tells you that they know where this is going, I cannot believe it because there's so many different factors and the factors are always changing. So it's really hard to gauge. You know what? I think we probably can get a decent snapshot of the next 30, 60, and starting around to 90 days moving forward, it starts to get really blurry because a lot of different things can happen. Even the things that are happening right now in the market, they probably don't have a full effect until the next 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line. Things need time to kind of play themselves out. So it's really hard to gauge. Like, you know, if somebody's asking me, is this the best time to sell my house? Am I going to get the highest price right now? It's really hard to tell. Based on what we're looking at right now, it would be a good time to sell if you're just going to be selling. But if you're going to be buying, hey, it could be a different story. So I would suggest to anybody that if you're looking for the best time to sell, I think the better question to ask yourself is what's your objective with what you're trying to do, right? If you're trying to sell your single car detached home and move up to a double car detached home, or you're trying to sell your double car detached and buy a condo in terms of downsizing, it all is different and depends on where the market is. So the decision really has to be with you. I would say that you could talk to a realtor like myself. You could talk to your bank, you could talk to your mortgage person, you could read the news, you could read articles. And at the end of the day, what you're doing by doing all of that and comparing multiple sources is you're acquiring the information. And by you taking in that information and putting it all together for yourself, you're having the knowledge to make the best decision for yourself. So whatever solution is correct for somebody else is probably not the right solution for you. So I think it's a great idea to get all the information, get people's opinion on where they think they're going. But at the end of the day, it's your own personal situation and you got to make the best decision. So now Generally, I'll tell you, sitting at the end of March 2023, if you are in the market for basically selling your house and upgrading, I think it's still a great time to do it. Someone might write a bad comment below here and say, hey, you're crazy, market's going to crash and everything. And we get a bunch of them. Go ahead and take a look. But the thing is that, hey, if it works for you, for someone like me, it would probably work for me. Hey, I know I'm going to be able to go out there. I'm going to buy the house that I want. I'm going to turn around and sell this house. And if I can afford that gap there, maybe my gap is $200,000 or $300,000. If I can afford that gap, I think it's a good thing to do. More importantly, guys, right now, if you have bought a property over the last few years that you don't feel comfortable renewing your mortgage on, my advice to you is right now or in the next little while is probably going to be the best time for you to try to get out of this thing if you think you're going to get out. If you think you're going to wait for prices to go up and everything is going to be great and you're going to sell out and recover all your money and get out of the situation you've got yourself into, I'm not the guy that would be rolling the dice on that. That's my personal opinion. Maybe the market goes sky high and you do a lot better off. But I know some people that are in a situation where they bought a house a year ago or 2 years ago, and they basically bought out of hype. They maybe paid a little bit too much for it. They got a lower interest rate. And now that the rates are going up, they're going to have a hard time kind of keeping up with those payments. So I'm suggesting to anyone that is in that category, I would tell you to take a really good look at yourself, your financial self right now, and say, hey, am I willing to break even? Am I willing to lose $50,000 but get out of this situation? I don't want to get into too many details, but I ran across somebody that basically had bought a property out of hype. They didn't use us to buy it, but we were in communication with them, but they went ahead, they sold their property, they got a great number for it. They went ahead, they bought a property, in my opinion, overhyped and to kind of show that, hey, keeping up with the Joneses type of thing. And they basically had a little bit of change in work situation. And what happened is that their mortgage ended up to being more expensive than they expected. And now what they're doing is that they're working more or less day and night to try to service this thing and making interest-only payments. And for me, I don't think that's worth it. I think if you're working your entire life to pay interest only and not really paying off this principal, I don't think it's worth it. So if you guys end up in that category, I think this could be a good time. Maybe right now, we're at the end of March 2023, maybe middle of April, maybe middle of May, maybe that's the right situation. For me, my advice is I wouldn't stretch it too much further, but I think that if you're in that situation, this might be a good time for you to consider selling it. Try to get what you can out of it, either pre-book something or maybe buy something smaller that's a little bit more manageable for you guys. This is my advice of moving forward in the market this year. Like I said, I think that things will change over the next few months, and we're obviously going to be here providing you our opinion and giving you an outlook on the market. If you guys have any questions, we're going to have a link to my calendar. We've opened up a bunch of time slots with no pressure whatsoever, okay? You can click on the link. You can set up a 15-20 minute chat with me. We'll get on a Zoom or just have a phone call. You can ask me about rentals. You could ask me about home sales. You can ask me about interest rates, and we can have a nice little chat with no pressure, and you can get some information that you need and that you might not feel comfortable about adding into the comments. All right, guys, until next time, remember one thing, get Kabani, get sold.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.